stream.
Oh,
add to stream. Ha ha ha! We're here.
Almost seamless, and it's nearly. Well, I can't see any people cropping up.
Look at
yet.
these people. They're complaining like we've started 2 minutes early, and they're already complaining that we're late.
Are they? I can't see any comments yet.
Hang on. Where's my technical support? Good.
What did you do last time? Because you made it happen last time. You pressed something that you hadn't been.
Oh yeah. For fuck's sake. Have we started? No, we haven't.
No, it says it's live. In fact, you probably got people watching, but you haven't switched on the thing.
Oh my god!
This is probably part of the attraction. Is your weekly incompetence?
Yeah, but where? Oh fuck! It says it's. You are live. Are we live or not? Can anyone see us?
I'll see if Simon says anything.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Simon, tell us, are we live? It says you are live. Oh,
switch
apparently
on
we are live.
Switch on YouTube chat, he says.
Yeah, why didn't they fucking tell us? Sorry, we can't swear because we'll get censored. Why didn't you all say we can see you rather than just like this thing where you sort of pretend?
Things aren't on. The comments.
Yes, they are.
I can't see it.
I can see the comments.
All right.
But no, I'm now really
there's
an enormous thing across our pictures saying StreamYard. Comments show up. How do I get rid of that?
No, you made it come up, didn't you?
Oh no. I hate this. I hate this so much.
Switch top right corner.
I can't even see my face. Hang on. Right.
Can everyone else see the StreamYard duck right across the thing?
How do I get rid of the StreamYard duck? Have you got StreamYard duck across your face as well?
Mine's across the bottom of the screen.
I click on the banner to make it go away. Thank you, Simon. No, it's not. It's still there. Ah, no. What? I've lost all the. Oh no.
This is the content people come along for. What have you lost?
No, I hate this. It just says StreamYard. Do you know what? Do you know the problem was? Do you know what? Can I confess? You're going to get cross with me.
Go on.
Do you know why I should have been getting my act together, so that we didn't have these teething problems. But as I was about to get it set up, I got distracted by this thing saying 2 girls who've never heard Stairway to Heaven before react to Stairway to Heaven.
Reaction.
And it was just
you got drawn in by one of them.
I got sucked in to their joy in experiencing, they were just listening to the intro and Jimmy Page was on his double
first time.
Oh, but I think Stairway to Heaven is the one, no?
Yeah, well, the action video. No, I just think I'm still angry that you got distracted by this, and we've got this duck at the bottom of the screen that you don't know how to get rid of.
Look, Simon, you are bloody sacked as our technical assistant. If you cannot tell me now how to get
everything Simon has said so far. He told you how to
click on the duck.
He told you how to do super chats.
I'm going to try. What's this square at the corner? No. Oh, that did the thing again. Oh God!
Just
click on the duck.
Away.
No, it hasn't gone away. It's just
anyway. You're meant to give Simon a blue spanner. So Simon,
yeah. How do I give him a blue spanner?
Tim Price is so loving this. So great, Tim. You've come to the right place for fraternal incompetence.
The comments keep moving, so I can't click on the comments. How do I give Simon a blue spanner?
You should have done all of this before we went live. He told you how you can pre-assign things.
Select menu next to the
hang
username
on.
in chat.
Simon's come up as the screen again. How does he do that?
Oh no.
Simon is a
Select
genius.
menu next to the username in chat and select add. Select what? Set menu.
You blew
no.
All right, just leave
I can't do this, Simon. It's too complicated. Now I've got just
your podcast. We'll just talk, okay? Calm.
Yeah, okay.
So do a sort of welcome.
So hello, everyone. What are we going to talk about, Dick?
Well, have
you arranged some topics for us?
I have. There's a few hot topics at the moment, and one of them is all about the Bud Light vaccine.
Yeah. I'm going to be taking it.
I've slipped straight back.
I think everyone
take the vaccine for Bud Light.
We're kind of a cult. Everyone knows what the secret words of the cult are.
Yeah,
and I'm obviously going to take the vaccine as soon as I can, because a nice man came up to my house the other day with this truckload of cash. It was a bit like the guy who drove the truckload of filled in ballots from New York to Pennsylvania. And he just said, I've done quite well out of this software industry. I think he was American. And I have this vaccine program I'd like to promote, and I know you're an influencer. So will you take the vaccine? Apparently it was me.
Had you considered having it live as part of a podcast? That would be really quite dramatic, wouldn't it?
That's going to be next week's podcast. I would have done it this week, but I couldn't get my the technical side of things together.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, that's something
that's going to be great.
Next time. Dick and James take a vaccine live. But obviously we are in the skeptical camp on the vax front, and it seems to be all anyone's talking about at the moment. And I've got a take on it, and hear me out on this one. There's lots of, I'm not going to take it. Oh, but I am. Now, the non-vaxxers, I don't want to call us anti-vaxxers because most of us quite simply aren't. Why can't we let them just go ahead and have it and not push them away from it? You seem to be on a mission to tell the world that this is a bad thing. And I'm thinking, well, let that lot have it.
Are you cucking out on me? Because
no, I'm
actually,
not cucking
Dick,
out on you.
One of those people that might be having the vax is our mummy. I mean, I imagine that she's going to come under pressure. Oh, listen, that my light is flashing, making me look like in an evil way. James McLaughlin, it's not the camera. If you were paying attention, you would know, and you don't even have to pay me for this answer. You would know from previous week's episodes that it's because my internet is rubbish. I live in the country. It's not the camera. I'm going to get a good camera, but it won't make any difference.
Although the flashing light does
rubbish.
Look quite a lot like level 1 of Doom. It's quite exciting.
Hang on, I'm going to just talk to them, Dick, while I just change the light.
Okay, well, look, before you completely accuse me of cucking, I am perfectly happy with people who are confident about this vaccine, taking this vaccine, and knock yourselves out. I hope it's really great for you, and I hope your genitals don't drop off. But I'm not going to be doing it, and I'm going to be discouraging my family from doing it because I'd kind of like to be a grandfather one day. Let them do it. If it manages to get us back to some level of normal, which it won't, it won't. This thing's going to go on forever. This is just the start of a massive, big dystopia thing. But don't dissuade people who are happy to have the vax from having it, apart from our mother. But then again, I'm not that worried that mother might become infertile.
Yeah, but Dick, it's not just. I agree that fertility or otherwise is not probably high on the list of priorities anymore, but it can have other side effects as well. In fact, apparently, if you've had cancer or treatment for cancer, that puts you into a risk category. You shouldn't take it. So and mother's
that's
cancer,
mother.
so I don't think that would be. Yeah. And also, it's just the whole principle of the thing. I mean, I rather fear what's going to happen is, you know, how that generation, I think they are the luckiest generation in a way, the generation that missed
Just
out
after the
on having
war.
to fight in the war, got all the benefits of the boomer era, all the kind of, you know, all was
stuff.
it 1971 where the link between currencies and gold finally ended, and that was the beginning of the end, really. But they've had all the benefits of that, and now they're still in good health, a lot of them, and they go off on holidays about 4 or 5 times a year, and they go off golfing, and it's become part of their life, and I'm happy for them, because I mean, obviously I love our parents. But I reckon that there's probably going to be pressure put on them by the airlines saying you cannot travel without one of these danger jabs. And
well, I've had two thoughts on that. One of them is the whole sort of the future of pubs saying you can't come in unless you've got a COVID passport or what have you. There's going to be a 2-tier thing, isn't there? So your corporate pubs are going to have this, got to show your pass on the way in. And there's going to be a little local that says, sod it, we're not playing by this. I would always rather go to the sort of pub that says we're not going to go along with this. Which pub would you rather be in? And there'll be airlines as well, surely, that will say, yeah, we're going to make a fortune by letting people fly without a COVID pass. So that is the one thought I've had on that. If it becomes,
do you know what I'm thinking? Do you know what I'm thinking, Dick?
What are you thinking?
You know, the what was the Pacific Theatre version of Band of Brothers? What was it called? Pacific.
The Pacific, yeah. I never even remember watched the whole thing.
Okay. Do you remember the Guadalcanal episode?
When they sneak in.
Yeah,
they're sneaking in quietly.
You're reminding me slightly of the guy who is writhing in the bottom of the foxhole as if he's been hit, but he hasn't been hit. He's had a crisis of nerves.
Right.
I expect this kind of fence sitting nonsense from people like
Toby Young.
Toby Young. I would expect that from Toby Young, and I would rebuke him for it. I don't really expect. I mean, you are literally my band of brother, aren't you?
Right. I literally.
Well,
yeah.
You're one of two brothers. You are my band of brothers, brother, and you have kind of let me down. I expect that we fight to the bitter end. You know, we don't have any wavering on the point. Surely about the vaccines is that they are entirely unnecessary. Well, there's lots of points, actually. The other point about the vaccine, of course, is that there has never been a successful vaccine for a coronavirus before. Otherwise, we'd have cured the common cold by now. But more importantly, we don't need it. We do not need a vaccine. It's endemic. We're fine.
But it's a bit like walking into a shop and shouting at everyone to take their masks off. Now, I know it's something we kind of want to do, but you kind of got to accept that the whole population is just so cowed and cowardly that you're not going to get that. Let them do it. Just you know, these are going to be the bovine specimens that just wade up to the vaccine stand and say, "Inject me now." Oh, that thing went away. That's good.
Do you know what? I was so annoyed by that. Was it on yours as well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone. I don't know why, but it has.
Anyway. Yeah, because I pressed a magic button. Oh. I pressed a magic button. Yes.
Right. Okay. So address my point that you're not going to. This is classic you as well. Why can't you?
I was going to answer it. Here you go.
Why are you going to answer it?
Steve, I'm in the middle of recording a podcast. So
Steve.
Can I speak later on?
Classic Steve.
Okay.
No, Steve.
Bye.
I don't know. Who's that isn't watching this show that you know? Who was that? Who is Steve?
I know. I hate that. No, he's just like, how can anyone not watch this podcast?
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say, I'm really impressed by the quality of the bants of the comments coming through. I mean, they're really intelligent, our audience.
James and his phone every time. Yeah, it's great. Phone off now, please.
No, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to. I just like.
I like it when you get electronic green sleeves as your ringtone, because you don't know how to change it after your evil daughter put it on there on purpose to annoy you.
Not green sleeves. The Entertainer.
Oh God, right? Yeah,
Scott Joplin.
Yeah.
Really annoying. I mean, just hateful. Just like I keep it on so I can hate my children and remind myself just how horrible they are. Oh yeah, and somebody says I can't vape on screen.
Is that another thing they stop you doing?
Yeah.
No. Bring back Patrick Wood.
I'll tell you.
Well, that's a good call, isn't it?
Bannon. Somebody wants to know about Bannon. I don't know why.
They thought he was on the phone, maybe.
Oh no, it wasn't that. Oh yes, it wasn't. It was different Steve.
Different Steve.
No, Bannon's not returning my emails at the moment. I don't know why.
He might be busy.
I don't know why. He always used to.
Fighting off the fraud that's going on in the United States. How is that going, by the way? Because we've all got a
so Dick, I wrote a piece in the Australian Spectator. Note, not the UK Spectator. Gosh, why could that be? And not in the US Spectator, which is odd, given that it's about the US. I wrote a piece in the Australian Spectator saying that I feel like the boy who is pointing out the emperor as wearing no clothes and wondering why nobody else appears to notice. In fact, the analogy I used is it's a bit like we're all traveling in this enormous lift and somebody has done the most incredibly smelly fart and everyone is pretending that it hasn't happened. Everyone's just, it's sort of going in their nostrils and they're nothing to smell here. They're going, nothing to smell. And of course, the smell that they're all pretending not to smell is the biggest election fraud in the history of Western democracy. I mean, we know this kind of thing happens in Venezuela, not least because they use the same machines that they use in this election. The Dominion were designed to help Hugo Chavez win in Venezuela. And this has happened in the US. And I think we all grew up, didn't we? We all grew up thinking America is like the model. It's got this constitution and it's got this justice system and it's got all these judges and it's got all these checks and balances. And you're never going to get massive electoral fraud in America because
you know what, that's pretty much what the warning says whenever the God Emperor puts out a tweet and talks about the fraud in the election. There's a thing flagged up. If you take the trouble to read that one, the first thing it says, election fraud in the United States is very, very rare. And so it's a bit like going swimming in Australia and being attacked by a shark and walking up the beach holding your one severed leg and going to a lifeguard and saying, I think a shark has just bitten this leg off. And he turns to you and says, I think you'll find shark attacks are very, very rare.
No, so he wouldn't, Dick. I know what he'd say. He'd say, mate, you need the green whistle. You need the green whistle. I've watched so many episodes of Bondi Rescue, and I know the green whistle. The green whistle is the thing that they always, whether you've been stung by a box jellyfish or eaten by a shark, they give you the green whistle, which is this. It's got this stuff in it that you inhale.
Right.
Not rhubarb and custard flavored vape, although I'd quite like that right now. And they give you the green whistle, and everything is just, it's all right. It's
what, even a severed leg.
Even a
anyway,
severed leg, yeah.
Ruin my analogy, why don't you? Because it's about the likelihood of it's happening is their first line of attack on why there was no fraud. What?
I just thought, I want to bitch, I don't. Can I stop myself? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. I'm about to bitch about one of my friends.
Who?
Dan Hannon. Dan Hannon.
Well,
did you see?
sold out.
Did you see his tweet the other day? Where he was talking about the precautionary principle and about how he couldn't guarantee that there wouldn't be any side effects for this Pfizer vaccine any more than he could guarantee that Britain wouldn't be overrun by giant alligators, which is a bit like your shark analogy.
Yeah.
What Dan was saying was, well, in my amusing analogy, what I'm saying is that this vaccine is perfectly safe, and I'm using the medium of humor to illustrate this point. And I'm thinking, Dan, et tu, Dan Hannon, because I'm sure that had he not just been made international ambassador for the, he's been given a new post, international ambassador,
head of international or something like that.
Sellout. I mean, the thing is, I think I said this last week. Had I played my cards right, if I were interested in this kind of thing, which I'm totally not, I too could have had some bauble. I could have some really, really minor non-job in the Conservative Party and been invited to, I don't know, whatever you get invited to when you're a minor something in the Conservative Party.
You know what? I don't think you could, because look what happened to Toby.
No. Yeah.
Toby was just going to get some minor Quango role that wasn't even paid, I don't think. And they turned on him. And Toby isn't half as forthright as you on the more controversial topics. So, if they didn't let Toby do it, they do the whole, what do they call it? Offense archaeology thing on you, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. But I'm thinking
very far with you.
No, they wouldn't. There'd be no archaeology involved. It'd be sort of offence looking at the surface without even scraping away the
field and just picking up the very first things they find.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's my my get out of jail free in a way, because I'm like offence in plain sight. You don't even have to. I'm so obviously offensive in so many different ways.
I'm totally lacking a filter.
That guy. I was talking about this on a forthcoming podcast with Laura Perrins. I've started doing a regular with Laura because people love her, because she's a girl, but she talks like an angry man. I mean, it's the perfect combination, and also it brings in lots of
and unwavering. She's absolutely solid throughout this. One of the few people who have never once wavered, and we love her for that.
Yeah, we do.
Her husband is a very lucky man.
Who is the guy on the guy who runs Hat Trick Productions that does Have I Got News for You? He went to Cambridge. He's slightly older than us.
It's all a bit
sort of liberal lefty, but not extreme.
We might get an answer up on the screen for this. No.
But yeah, exactly. I love it when our listeners do our research.
Jimmy
Mulville. You see, these people are just like alpha, beta, nons cat. Well done. I think peas mold grunt fucker has never wavered either. But I think that's probably the case with most of our listeners here. But so Jimmy Mulville
King Bingo's here.
He tries to police my Twitter, pointing out that I've said something. I've used an offensive analogy. That's right. I was talking about how the French resistance in the war or something or other, and he sort of played the offense game. How dare you use this as an analogy, because these were people and they were real and they went through bad things like of which you'll never see, kind of thing. And I just thought, go away, you silly man. Obviously, I thought it more strongly than that.
How come you haven't blocked him? Sorry,
possibly I haven't blocked him because I think that I don't care anymore, Dick. I just don't care. It's really weird. It's like a superpower I've acquired in the last. I think. Do you know what? I tell you what. the best thing almost that ever happened to me was, no, not the best thing, obviously. I mean, there have been, I could name blowjobs that I have that would definitely rank higher than this experience. But
right.
but or actually,
you're going to
my
forget what your
first
original
days,
point was soon now.
my first days stag hunting on Exmoor, I think, was definitely up there. And you know, obviously there are lots of pill experiences, but nevertheless, I think recently a really good thing that happened to me was what at the time seemed one of the worst things ever, which was when Andrew Neil took me to pieces, like a kind of cat playing with a mouse, not because he's hungry, but just he wanted to really give the mouse a really hard time. On that TV program, that
the one that every opponent of you seems to have automatically on copy and paste for
they masturbate over
it.
They masturbate over it. It is their porn moment. You know, whenever James Delingpole says something wrong, all they have to do is go through their wank bank, and they trawl up Andrew Neil and James. You know, James Delingpole sitting in a comfy chair, and Andrew Neil taking him down. And I initially went through the stage of thinking that maybe I deserved it. Maybe I should have gone in better prepared. But actually, do people want to know the full story about this, or shall I just save it for another occasion? Anyway, short. No, I'll long version some other time. Short version is what it made me realize was that I do not need the mainstream media, and what's more, the mainstream media is fundamentally untrustworthy and evil. And this has been the case for a long time. And it was something I learned from Paul Joseph Watson. Paul Joseph Watson very sensibly has never engaged with the BBC, for example. And he realized that the only function of people like me and him is to be destroyed, by the mainstream media. We're not there because our point of view is considered valid. It's about showing to the mainstream people, look at these ridiculous fools. These are the kind of people that we ridicule. We cannot take them seriously.
You knew this when you were doing these things. But you kept on going back, maybe saying, well, the such and such show is okay. And I think that's probably why you did Andrew Neil, because he was one of the last holdouts we had of vaguely right.
No, what it was, I was seduced back because that particular program, it was like really fun to do in that you turned up about midday and you would make a film. You'd make a film like in that episode where I dressed up as a zombie or a zombie, I think. And you'd spend hours like feeling like you were, you know, a proper TV person.
Makeup and everything, weren't you?
Yeah. And then you'd be put up in a nice hotel, and then you'd go on the show really late at night, and it wasn't like daytime because it had a nighttime feel. So people wore sort of open neck shirts rather than ties, and it was a relaxed atmosphere. And the previous ones I'd done, it was just like very easy because it was I was really there as the sort of the comedy character rather than the kind of political analysis. I don't really care about political detail, never have. I'm just right on the big picture. You know, I'm an entertainer, broad brush. And it had worked fine before, but this particular week, Andrew decided to turn on me, and he did so for particular reasons. He'd been monstered by Owen Jones the previous week, and I think he probably felt that he had to take down a right-wing person
show some balance
to compensate. It was wrong. I realize now, although I didn't think so at the time. I just thought I should have been better prepared, but it was more than that. Anyway, that's the story. No, I won't. Absolutely no way will I take a spot on his new channel. No, nope. I think it's going to be tainted goods. I think it's going to be compromised.
It's going to be a damp squib, isn't it?
Is everyone here in agreement with that? It's going to be controlled opposition. Yeah,
but just about everything is, except for the likes of you and Paul Joseph Watson and a few other holdouts. It's you're right that the entire mainstream media, even the nominally right-wing papers, Telegraph, Times to a lesser degree, but absolute all gone, fallen one by one.
Well, I think the non-coverage of the biggest electoral fraud in the history of Western democracy is absolutely gobsmacking. I talked about being in this ginormous lift earlier on.
Yeah,
and I just think when I was growing up, when you and I were growing up, what was the biggest journalistic scoop that everyone had to emulate if you were a journalist? What was
Watergate,
the big story? Yeah, Watergate. We knew the names of the reporters, didn't we? Well, I did anyway. I don't know whether you did. Woodward and Bernstein.
I wasn't that interested in it. But
do you know who got to play them in the movies?
Robert Redford. No.
Yeah, and Paul Newman. So the two biggest actors, the two most bankable, good-looking, cool actors of that particular era, got to play Woodward and Bernstein in the movies. So we were led to believe that Watergate was the biggest, most desirable scoop in history. And here we've got a scandal that makes Watergate look like the teddy bear's picnic. And where is the mainstream media? It's not even like they've got to find Deep Throat to give them this particular scoop. All they've got to do is turn on their computers and look at the screen showing them a live feed of the hearings going on, and they can't even be bothered to do that.
The only thing that's appearing today that's getting some form of traction is the black boxes being pulled from underneath the tables that we've seen.
Oh, sorry, Dustin Hoffman, not Paul Newman. Dustin Hoffman.
Right, there you go, Dustin Hoffman.
Apparently.
Yeah, the black boxes being pulled from under the tables full of ballots once they've got rid of the counters. That was all being filmed. That one that's on Sky News Australia.
That's the thing. Okay, so that footage of the boxes mysteriously with what could they have contained? Not filled in illegal ballots for Biden. Sandwiches.
It was a lunch break.
Except it was in the middle of the night. It was a middle of the night lunch break. They probably had the munchies. They'd probably been smoking too much weed, hadn't they?
Maybe. Legal weed, of course.
Legal weed. Oh God! Thank you, everyone, for telling me I'm wrong about Dustin Hoffman. I'm so stupid. Yeah, look, Dick. When we get super chats going, we can actually afford this thing. We're going to
be wrong.
We're going to get fact checkers.
Yeah.
There's going to be a guy in my earpiece saying, "Yeah, no, James, I think you'll find it was Dustin Hoffman, actually."
Right.
Dustin Hoffman.
And then we're going to give Simon a blue spanner. Charlie Dellingpole.
Charlie,
or is that someone?
It can't really be Charlie. It's going to be an impersonator, hasn't it?
A picture of him and everything.
Charlie, is this you? Give us some indication that it's
tell
really
us something
you.
That only you would know.
Only you would know. Yeah, go on. Tell us something only you would know.
Lol. Yeah.
Lol.
Charlie.
I think it is Charlie. I think it's actual Charlie. We have a tech plutocrat king here that probably Charlie's like good Bill Gates.
Charlie is good Bill Gates. He doesn't have an animal name, does he? That's his thing that look, that's how he's identified. He doesn't.
He doesn't have an animal
name.
We
all have animal names in our family.
Don't tell them they do. Don't.
Why not? Look,
if people know your animal, if people know your animal name, it's like they control you.
Oh, it's like sort of the Jellicle cat secret name type of thing, which only they know.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's a bit like, you know, when you go to Africa and you take somebody's picture and they feel that you've stolen their soul.
And they come
in
up
the
and
same
go,
way. If I told,
Moxa.
yeah,
That means they want money.
That's your word. That's your word. I don't think I've expressed strongly enough how much I totally despise. Yeah, well, Charlie might come on. I don't know. Ask him. You ask him in the comments. He'll read the comments whether he wants to come on. How much I despise the mainstream media. I mean, as far as I understand it, okay, so the girls from Conservative Woman are on side, and Majid Nawaz is on side of all things. But I think we are the only people left in the kind of the mainstream-ish media. I mean, I call myself mainstream-ish insofar as I spent the first 20 years of my career in the mainstream media. We're the only ones left who are even acknowledging that Trump has a chance of winning this one, of turning this one round. And you're right, that footage of the ballots being cheated. So I turned to my Telegraph today, which I only get because the wife insists on having a paper to read at breakfast. I would have banned it long ago, just like I banned the BBC in my car. The BBC is not allowed in my car. Do you know that?
No, I've done the same. I used to have
it's fantastic.
Leave it on until it annoys you thing, and that you'd barely get away from the house and you had to turn it off. So yeah, no BBC anywhere.
Dick, we've got the Georgia resident, an actual Georgia resident. I'm so excited. Adam here. C. Lambert.
Black boxes go ignored. The American spirit will break. Will it break, or will you just find your fighting spirit and actually get out there and make shit happen?
Dick, I think we the people will not stand for this. Look, it's even the university system cannot make cannot so cuckify America that it is not forgotten that in its DNA is the urge for freedom, to protect the Constitution, to fight for all the things that make America worth living in. I honestly. Can I finish my peroration or whatever?
Whatever the word I'm looking for. I've got something in after that.
So what I think is this, that whatever the constituent parts of the mainstream media, and they really are parts, frankly, a bunch of very small parts, whatever these so-called journalists think personally of Orange Man and about the fact that he's bad. Yeah, I'm puzzled by that, John Well, as well. Orange Man bad. Whatever they think, surely it's not really about Trump. It's about democracy. I mean, even if Hitler was standing in this election and Hitler had genuinely won the majority of votes, surely it's a recipe for absolute disaster when 74 million people vote for a candidate in good faith and the candidate doesn't win because the other side manipulates the system and just cheats. How can that not be a bridge too far for any civilized democracy?
Yeah, but
how can Biden win when you've got footage of what's been going on?
I've got a feeling the whole attitude of anti-Trumpers on both sides, red anti-Trumpers and blue anti-Trumpers, is that, yeah, we know it's kind of dodgy, but it's what had to be done to get rid of Trump. Now, can we all just forget it was won with corruption and just move on? And it's kind of, they know they've done a bad thing, but it's kind of like doing a bad thing for the greater good, isn't it? That's how they sell it to themselves.
That's what I mean about the fart in the lift. They're just like pretending.
The door will open soon.
No. Yes, the door open. The door open.
And someone saying they're America's last hope. Yeah, but What about when it's gone? What about? I know you're gonna shout me down if I get cuckish on the what ifs, but we still fight on, don't we?
That's look. Dick was referring to the fact that I have been very, very strict with people wavering. I consider my role to be one of the NKVD commissars in Enemy at the Gates, is it?
Yeah, when you're shooting anyone who retreats.
I bloody have been, Dick. I have been shooting so many people.
Some men have bullets, some men have rifles. And
just pick up the rifle.
And hope a bullet appears. Yeah. So you have been brutal with the. This is on a WhatsApp group that a fair few of us are on now, and there's fairly vigorous conversation.
That's a bit. This message from Hungary. I thought Hungary was one of the Helms Deep, but if Orban has sold out, he's giving everyone free money and expecting vax from Russia imminently.
Well, the Russian vax was rolled out today, wasn't it? I mean, who developed?
Yes, I'm disappointed in Putin. The thing is, I'm worried that this is way bigger than we can really imagine at this point. I think this is a globalist coup. I think one name for it is the Great Reset, but I think to pin that name on it, it's not all to do with Klaus Schwab. It's to do with lots of things. It's to do with the Trilateral Commission. It's to do with United Nations Agenda 2030. It's kind of up to us. It's kind of up to us to do what they do in episode 5 of To the Lake. We haven't discussed To the Lake without plot spoilers, Dick. Do you not think to the Lake is utterly fantastic?
It's absolutely essential viewing, if only for the fact that it's probably the first thing most people have seen that's made in Russia, that's a Russian TV program. And it was a bit like watching Le Revenant when you start to get into French TV and realizing that actually the TV and film producing world doesn't begin and end in Hollywood. And you can have people.
Oh, it does. It ends.
Well, it ends, yeah. But I mean, it
ends in Hollywood. I'm just no. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Do you know what? There's only one crime for which I would use even a more of an explosive bullet than I do for waverers on Trump and the stolen election, and that's people who give away key plot details. I've blocked people on Twitter for much less than that. I just think it's appalling. No, but I just say episode 5 is a.
We've got a girl at work who, whenever we mention Game of Thrones, she shouts, "No spoilers! I haven't watched it yet." And so it's like it can't go on forever, but you kind of wonder whether it's worth her bother with Game of Thrones. But definitely, if you haven't seen To the Lake. Oh, and top tip, it'll start playing with English dubbing. Don't watch that. Listen to it in Russian and turn English subtitles on. Otherwise, you won't get.
Who are these people who watch dubbed versions? One of my friends on Twitter, Oliver,
foreign TV sometimes do it. It's lazy.
Oliver Berlau, who's one of my followers on Twitter, one of my Germans. I love my Germans. Oliver Berlau said that it.
Don't answer it.
I've got to.
Why?
Hello.
Yeah. Also, with powder, you shouldn't watch it. Watch it in the proper.
Charlie's
what have you? And who was he talking to? Watch it in the original language and have the subtitles on, and enjoy the sound of an unfamiliar language. It is by far the best thing to do. So I watch you guys in Korean.
Go ahead, yeah.
Nice.
Love you. I go back to the podcast. Bye.
Who are you loving?
What is that? Was
that one of our parents?
What is pre-workout? He said, "I'm going to order some pre-workout from Amazon or something." Is that?
I don't know. I've missed it. It's gone.
It's some sort of gym stuff. Anyway,
Yeah,
Oliver Burlab.
30 seconds.
Oliver
Don't do
Oliver
dub.
Burlab said that the biggest uptake of when they introduced dubbing, the biggest uptake was from the fascist countries, Italy,
so if
and
you
Germany,
watch it with
and Spain.
with dubbed, you are literally a Nazi.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've had people actually complain to me when I've sorry to get cross, but I do get cross. I've had people complain about like, you recommended Fauda, but I watched the dub version and it was really stupid. And I'm thinking, no, you're the stupid one. So I put in block capitals. I put in caps lock mode. Do not watch the dubbed version.
Yep. I think the problem is
Gilbert.
It comes up.
Gamora did not go downhill pretty quickly. Gamora is bloody marvelous. I'm not having this
Gamora was consistently good.
Gamora is just the best. Gamora is bellissimo.
Right, listen, I've got another subject here.
Okay, che cazzo.
What?
Che cazzo. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's my Italian I learned. Che cazzo.
What does it mean?
What a cat. No, I think it doesn't. It doesn't mean what a cat. It means something rude.
Oh right, okay.
It's like kurwa in Polish and any number of other Eastern European languages. It's a rude word.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Shall we try a yes/no game, but with the chat going, so people can?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
People love the yes/no game.
It's quite a controversial one. First off, Kirsty Allsop. See what you're saying about that one.
I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's a yes, isn't it?
You'd think.
No. What's she done?
Well,
what's she done?
She went completely off message, or look, there's some no's coming. It depends which period.
You see, look at the mix of yeses and nos. People didn't know this. What's she done?
Well, she was so sound, and I can't remember what issue it was particularly on, whether it was on Trump or on COVID or masks or what. But it was like another one we've suddenly lost, another one that's been body snatched. I recommend you having a look at her Twitter feed of late, but she was so sound, and then she wasn't. So yeah.
I had not known Death had done so many. Dick, this is awful. Yeah. Well, okay.
Next one. Carol Vorderman.
Oh. I don't know. I haven't even thought about her at all for ages.
No, but you've got to take a wild guess in that case. Remember when Brian Pepper was a no?
Can I just get a guess no?
No, she's a yes, I'm afraid. I can't remember what it was she said, but I think she was it was probably a COVID thing.
There's a sister here.
Hello, sister.
Helen Dellingpole. Hello.
She's doing a tentative.
Nice. It's a family. It's a family affair.
It's like a Friday evening Dellingpole get together.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have some musicians here. Ian Brown.
Ian Brown has been so sound.
Hasn't he?
Yes. Now, I was trying to track him down and get him on the pod, but apparently he's a bit of an arse. Apparently he's quite
a very difficult person to get on with.
Well, he is the resurrection, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I suppose if you sing that line. Yeah. But he's been really sound. Just like, who would have thought that Ian Brown would have, because he's quite simian, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
but he's taken note. John Whale wants to know, who is he? He's the lead singer of Stone Roses.
Deep under the ocean.
I think John, where are you from? You're not English, are you?
He might be. He might just be very old.
He's a whale.
Yeah.
He's just a cetacean.
This is an easy one. Right Said Fred.
Listen, I'm going to get Right Said Fred on the podcast.
No way.
I've got an in.
That would be very good.
Yeah, I've got an in. I would like to make it the double, or rather the treble, because there are two Freds. I'd like to get Ian Brown as well at some stage. If anyone knows how I can get Ian, has anyone got an in with Ian Brown? I still think he'd be worth doing if I could get him. If anyone knows how to get him. Now,
I shared this little story on Twitter the other day because Right Said Fred started following me. Okay. And so I went up to the wife. I said, guess who started following me on Twitter? And she's just not remotely interested. I knew she wouldn't be. So I went, we were getting nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea. And she went, Bernard Cribbins. And I thought he was dead. Turns out not only is Bernard Cribbins not dead, so sorry, Bernard, but she failed to guess that people simply don't know that song and don't know that that's how Right Said Fred got their name. But anyway, that's my amusing Right Said Fred story. Let's get on with the list. John Lydon. Johnny
he is
Rotten.
the Antichrist. He's an Anarchist. I imagine it's got to be yes. It's got to be yes.
Resounding yes. Here's another one who's been a good one. Here's another name for you. Tom Harwood. Is that a no?
He's such a cut. No, he's like a
terrible person.
No. Have I said no enough?
Yeah, Sam Bowman.
Do you know what? I think he's a no, but I think he did something recently which made him half a yes briefly.
Right. Well, that shows promise, doesn't it? Okay.
But except the person who said this was Chris Snowden, who is very up and down.
Right. A lot of
everyone I know has gone away in the end, Dick. It's just it's happened rather more quickly than I thought.
Neil,
and you can have it all.
My Empire of Dirt. Neil Oliver.
Dick. You are just unconsciously, unknowingly listing my future podcast guests.
Fantastic. He has remained.
Do you know who else? Do you know who else? Do you know who else I want on the podcast and who's going to do it? I've got so many people lined up. Like, I don't need to go for boring people. I mean, just for mainstream people. I've got the people.
No. What are you going no to, Simon? I hope it wasn't to Neil Oliver. But he's essentially thrown away his career, like David Bellamy did.
Yes, like we all have.
But
bye bye. Whoosh, that's my career going by. Do you know who else I'm going to get on?
Who?
Okay.
Princess Nut.
No, I'm trying to think of. Okay, imagine that. Okay, imagine this is probably an AK-47. I would say probably. So where am I? What kind of realm am I in? Lately.
Lately. God, I don't know.
No, what kind of realm am I in? If I've got an AK-47, what?
Russia?
No. Dick, they yes, I know, but they export them, Dick, where are you most likely to have an AK-47 in armed combat these days?
None.
Where
these days?
No. That NAM isn't happening anymore.
Syria.
Yes. So who do you think I might be having on the pod? What?
Oh, that bloke who went off and
yes. Oh
God, how good is that? His stuff only recently. He's very
Mesa,
isn't he?
Mesa Gifford. Oh my God!
Is it the English one or the American one?
Yeah, the English one. The English one.
Well-spoken, quiet guy. Yeah.
Probably.
He's not sort of gung-ho. Anyway, okay. Oh, that's brilliant.
I'll have to get the sound levels sorted clearly when I do his podcast.
You've got some good stuff lined up. Should I hit you with one more musician?
I think you should.
Jim Core, the one who's not a fairly attractive Irish female from the Corrs.
Is he not?
Not an attractive female.
I don't know. No. I don't know who the Corrs, who Jim Core is.
Well, it's a They're the band that was called The Cause.
Oh, he is in The Cause, but he's just not one of the girls.
Early. So
okay, I'm gonna take a wild flying guess, and I'm gonna say yes.
Yes, he's another one who's been coming out. Have I got yeses? The Brother. Yep. Core, Blimey. Well done, Barn Door. Yeah, no, so he's another one. Look, I've got a longer list here, but it's got fairly obvious people like Chris Whitty on it. So did you see the pictures of Chris Whitty apparently getting his injection that came through today?
Yeah.
That Art
I did.
sharing. And did you see that he had his hand up here and he was going like that? And it was kind of like, yeah, I don't think that thing's even got the cap off.
We know how it's done, don't we?
Yeah. It's
they have these retractable actor injectors, actor hypodermics.
Yeah. Well, there was one recently where it was quite obvious that the cap was still on, but now they're doing a thing of like, oh, I'm just holding my sleeve up. Oh, did my thumb get in the way of the needle?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't even know if it wasn't saline anyway. It could have been anything. No one who needs convincing is going to be convinced by that sort of pantomime. Bloody pathetic. I think Matt Hancock's done one as well. But and the ones who are saying, "Oh no, I'm not going to be taking one now because I'm going to save that dose for someone who really deserves it, like one of our angelic nurses."
What they need, or what they want them to get, are those intramuscular injections you get in the arse, like I had when I had amoebic dysentery in Kenya, and I remember the injection that they did in my bottom. I don't know why, but it was jolly painful, and I would like the entire cabinet to have jolly painful injections in their bottom.
Or what about the rabies one, when they have to get you behind your spine but go through your stomach?
That is the urban myth, isn't it? Do you think it's true? Do you think that was real? Because that was what you remember. Things we used.
John Whale is back with rabies jab.
Yeah, things we used to.
Right, that you have to go through the stomach.
Things we used to speculate about when we were kids, used to worry about. One of them was getting rabies, and could we bear to have would it be better to die of rabies, or would it be worse having the jab? And another one was snuff movies. Do you remember snuff movies? There was this thing called snuff movies where people made films where the person actually died at the end, and it just shows how innocent the past was. Because now, of course, you can see real snuff movies everywhere on the internet.
Yeah,
but you obviously you can't see
the idea that they were out there. I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking about the remember video nasties. I mean, they were even trying to protect us from made up horror.
Yeah. People are suggesting that people are making bottom jokes about private school. We never had gay sex.
I think it was the bottom injection thing that set them off.
Yeah, I'm absolutely cool about my sexuality. I just so don't care about anything.
People are a bit freaked out by the fact that you don't have a filter and you're absolutely incapable of being embarrassed, which is something.
Can you explain to them about that, Dick? About me, this aspect about how.
Imagine having your embarrassment chip removed and living your life incapable of being embarrassed. It's the other side of the coin of always telling the truth, isn't it? Being incapable of being embarrassed.
Yes, I think that you just need your compass, don't you? You need a truth compass, and the truth compass. It's a bit like having God on your side, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so. If God equals,
I mean, isn't God truth? Isn't it the same? I know people say, "Oh, you don't go to church enough. You don't. You're not a proper Christian or whatever." But actually, I'm definitely finding myself gravitating a lot more towards God recently. And we were talking about this
before we came on,
about who agrees that what's going on. Whitty wasn't at Eton, that person. Whitty was at Malvern with us. Chris Whitty was with us, and we did not bugger him. I can tell you now, we absolutely did not bugger him. We didn't even talk to him, let alone he'd have been lucky for us to be buggered him. But surely we agree, all here present, that what is going on in the world right now is literally diabolical. That the forces of darkness are trying to take control.
I mean,
and
there is a thing of naturally becoming slightly more religious as you get older, and you get through your trendy atheist stage of life. And I don't know, some people would call it hedging your bets, just to make sure that when you die, you've got all the bases covered. But, you know, seeing true evil in the world and realizing there is a battle of good against evil going on out there, and then looking to your own church and finding an Archbishop of Canterbury like the one we've got at the moment, a Pope like the one we've got at the moment, it's not surprising that you can be self-identified Christian, but still not want to go to one of these churches. I mean, that's where I'm finding myself now.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's finding the right church. I think. I mean, obviously, if we lived in London, there'd be a few, and then there are the sort of more sort of hardcore Bible groups and things. But I think actually, what really matters is whether you live your life according to Christian principles. And I think one of the most important ones is do as you would be done by.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even if you just
like doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Just doing the right thing, telling the truth.
Our American friends are a lot more forthright about their own Christianity. We're a little bit more reluctant to talk about it over here. And it is almost more embarrassing than saying you're gay, isn't it? Coming out as a Christian, it's oh God, you're not, are you really? And I kind of am, and I kind of aren't. I like going to church and singing hymns once a year at Christmas and carols, whatever. But
yeah, the church is within you. Somebody says, mit, and I think mit is actually right. Yeah, Prince Charles, defender of faiths. Prince Charles actually plans to change it. I think that the Christian mainstream religion has left Christianity. That's the problem. But I think that I think we all here present, however we want to kind of define our religious beliefs, I think we all probably are committed to fighting for the light. I mean, one jests occasionally about how
you would
we're the dark side.
We're not. World, wouldn't you?
You what, sorry?
Even if you're an atheist, an avowed atheist, you'd still acknowledge that there is evil and good in the world. So you've got your own name for it, even if you don't acknowledge the existence of a higher being. Yeah.
Well, I think that one of the things that the Great Reset fears most are Christianity, whatever.
Which is why they've infiltrated the Christian hierarchy. So your bog standard C of E church and even Catholic Church is going to be pretty cucked. You know, the congregations are all quite happily going to be sat there in masks. I like the idea of some sort of underground church somewhere where it's no nonsense, St. James Bible, old-fashioned hymns.
St. James, you mean King James Bible?
Sorry,
yeah, and 1662 Book of Common Prayer. Yeah.
In fact, I think our very own Midlands Libertarian father, I won't name him, but we've got one in our group. He's pretty old school, high church, no nonsense, and he's very out on a limb with that because as a libertarian priest, you get cold-shouldered by the rest of the church. It's a rough place to be a libertarian. Guerrilla church, says Simon. Yeah, I like the sound of guerrilla church. I wouldn't be surprised if churches started springing up all over the place that more represented our views.
Yeah. Some of the glad trad in the Catholic Church are fighting back.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, well, but the Catholic Church needs to break away from the Pope, who is definitely the Antichrist right now, isn't he? I mean, he's so the Antichrist.
Yeah, they've done a proper job on the church, haven't they? A proper number on them.
Dick, will you just talk? I'm just going to have a quick go off camera on the vape so they don't see me.
All right, you're that desperate for
talk
a vape.
to them. Well, I don't
Not
know,
really happening. Are we absolutely sure about this vaping thing? That you'll be demonetized or banned when it happens? Can you hit up the comments if you know that to be the case? Are you seeing small clouds of smoke wafting across James's screen right now? Long marched rather than cucked from Adam. Yeah, good point. It was a long march. I mean, can you think of a single institution that hasn't fallen?
What happened?
I watched a little puff of vape coming across the screen, but we're still discussing the long march, and the church. Someone pointed out that the church wasn't cucked; it was long marched. It took a long time, but it's another institution that they've targeted over many years. Oh God, our own bishop. Why can't we? The Bishop of Worcester is one of the very worst offenders on the cuckishness front. And they seem so happy to have had their congregations turfed out and their churches closed down. It's almost like job done for them. This is perfect.
Right.
An empty church.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I just find it extraordinary that how compliant the church has been with this. I mean, only connect. So the swamp is so broad and deep. The swamp embraces the Church of England, the Church of Rome, the GOP mainstream, the Republican establishment, obviously the Democrats, the Conservative Party, the Labour Party. That's a given. I mean, the left is a given.
The legal system.
The swamping it includes so many.
NHS,
so many,
education, obviously.
Somebody dissing Stairway to Heaven alert. What? WTF, as the kids say. I'm not having that.
Comment. How did they get the Stairway comment?
Yeah. What else do you hate? Like
Kate Andrews, John Whale. You're being random. What's the Kate Andrews? Is she yes or a no?
Is Kate Andrews cucking out on Trump, right. like everyone else has, apart from me and the ones we named earlier. Did he? Donald Trump? Well, obviously I'd get Donald Trump if I could. Yeah. I'll just dial him in now. I'll just press the button.
That was on the phone earlier. You had to say not now.
Ask our technical guy.
The Dick and James podcast.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be so good? Wouldn't that be so good? I mean, would there be anyone better to get Donald Trump than Donald Trump? What would be the best?
Well, I was really impressed that you did a Paul Joseph Watson the other day. It's been a long time coming, that. I mean, I was really quite excited about it.
We still haven't done it, have we? We still haven't had him on the podcast. And he said yes.
Yeah, right.
It's a bit like who's the actress that I fancy that I would? Well, it's a bit like Arwen agreeing that she fancies you and she would, and not shagging her yet.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But
that's Paul Joseph. That's Paul Joseph Watson. He said yes, but I haven't had him yet. Yeah, but that would be good. Yeah, Hal says David Icke. Yep, probably right. Probably right.
The interesting thing about David Icke and all that, the David Icke crowd. I was at a secret meeting very recently.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the good people there who I met were kind of David Icke's. They were a full deck of conspiracy theory cards, from 9/11 to moon landings to even the odd flat earther. And actually, they're all really good people. And they're just going, well, duh, we know that our conspiracy theories were true all along. I mean, so many of them were. And it's sort of like, there are people now. We've been cucked out by most of our fellow conservatives, leaving us in the trench. You're looking around, and you're finding you're surrounded by the David Icke crowd. They're the fighters. They're the ones who are going to be the last man standing.
Somebody said, I prefer conspiracy theorists to the woke cult, except here's the thing. They're not even conspiracy theorists, are they, anymore? We've realized that they are the people, they are the keepers of the truth.
Mm.
This has been my progress. And I think however many people I've lost who now think James Delingpole used to be a stand-up guy, and I used to trust him, and I used to read him in The Spectator. I think that I've gained more followers by going, into that
falling down the rabbit hole. Yeah,
falling down the rabbit hole. How's my keto diet going? Seanography. I haven't, and you're getting this free, by the way, because we haven't introduced super chats yet. So you didn't have to pay for this.
Have this one on us.
Have this one on me. My keto diet is. I sort of glanced at some details about it, and I realized you can only have like 25 grams of you can only have 25 grams of not protein, carbs. And you've got to eat so much fat, and you've got to do this. And I'm thinking, this sounds a bit like doing a science exam. And I'm not sure that I want to do the science exam. I just want, but can I show you? My stomach?
No.
Can I show you my I've been on a low carb diet. No,
that might get you an instant ban on YouTube. You're going to do it.
No, you can't see it. You can't see it.
It's just a blurred white mass.
Okay.
It's like the alien autopsy. We were in area.
If you would see my stuff, I have got. You know those films you see where they're like Romans or they're going off to get the golden fleece or whatever, and you look at their stomachs and you think that's a flat stomach. You think, and you can see the six-pack thing. Yeah, you can see that, and you think, oh,
is that what you get like that?
I've got one of those already. And a washboard stomach. And get this, I went on a run this morning, and I just went
like RoboCop.
It was like the 300. It was like 300.
Very 300, James. Right.
And the only downside is you can't eat croissant or bread. Like I had pea soup for lunch today.
Well, we've got pea risotto.
I know you're going to say no. You're going to say no, but I'm just going. Hello. Oh, Liz, she's not there. I'll get to ring you when she's back. I'm in the middle of a podcast, so I can't talk. No. You want to know. Yes. Anyway, lots of love.
I want to know how far and how fast he ran.
I had pea soup for lunch.
How fast did you run?
5.3 miles. Shall I look on my Strava? What it was very up and down. It was proper cross country mud. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm name a long distance runner. Who would that be?
Forrest Gump.
5. Oh, get this.
What? You've
get
beaten
this.
Charlotte.
I got how?
No, it doesn't work.
No, I can't. No.
It just looks like it.
Anyway, but what I was trying to show you, I got the #1 achievement thing. I think it was maybe my best time, or it's certainly a good time.
You're just rubbing my face in now because I can't run anymore because my knees are shot. But I did do a very good mile in the pool today.
Oh my God, Dick!
What?
This is my best average pace. I got 10.13 per mile. I mean, I think that's not bad for somebody of my age, is it?
No,
what do we think?
Very good. It's very good.
Cross country, proper cross country,
with hills and mud. Any styles?
Hills and Mud. John Whale, stop being a killjoy. Yes, Styles.
He's right. Running
sorts
ruined my knees. So, I've got another subject that I want to move on to. Otherwise, it will be too late to talk about it. I'm going to kind of finish at 7.
Okay.
One of the good people we met through these illegal get-togethers. He's an ex-big pharma guy, really, really interesting. And we were discussing what is it that makes lockdown skeptics different to the rest of the world? What is it that we've got? How come we can see what's bleeding obvious, and so many people remain completely compliant? And he was talking about the theories of Rupert Sheldrake. Okay.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Sheldrake is. I didn't know about him until I got into Cosmo Sheldrake's music, and it turns out to be Cosmo's dad. And most people know Rupert before they know Cosmo, but he has a theory. He's a scientist. He did biochemistry or something like that, but then moved on to become part philosopher, part scientist. Came up with a theory called Morphic Resonance, okay, which is kind of a scientific explanation of psychic ability and the link between nature and man. 2 of his books will give you an interesting insight into the theories. One is called The Sense of Being Stared At. The other is called Dogs That Know When Their Owners Are Coming Home. So he attempted to answer these conundrums. How do we know we're being stared at? How do dogs know their owners are coming home? He came up with this theory of morphic resonance. Now, what this chap, this ex-farmer guy, was saying, he said, who around this table has woken up at about between 4 and 5 in the morning with a sudden feeling of dread and fear over this whole thing, the corona thing? And everyone's hands went up. It's like, we've all been waking up ridiculously early with the fear. He said that is like a morphic resonance message going out across everyone who is receptive to this. And so we are possibly better at reading morphic resonance. We have more of it. It's a bit like golden compass and dust and all that sort of, dark matter. We've got more of it.
I thought, for everything a reason.
Is that
for everything a reason? Somebody will get it. Somebody will get it very soon. It's a song, Dick.
Is it going to be a Led Zeppelin?
Who sings the song? No.
Cosmo Sheldrake.
Somebody's going to get it. Surely.
Now, is this another one of your song, Ian Brown's song?
Yeah.
Brown. Yeah.
They've got it. They're there.
Okay. Oh, Fear.
Yes. Yeah, FEAR. Yeah.
Okay. So, how many of our lovely listeners have encountered the work of Rupert Sheldrake? How common is this morphic resonance thing? He's generally cold-shouldered by the rest of the scientific community because obviously psychic ability is unprovable, and scientific world doesn't particularly like that sort of thing. He's considered to be a bit of a crank and a freak, but I'm really I want to read more because it makes a heck of a lot of sense to me. Anyway, I'm all to look more into it. Morphic resonance, Rupert Sheldrake.
I believe in crazy psychic stuff. I mean, I think there's something there, surely.
Yeah. Well, this guy has gone some way to attempting to answer it, and I think if he's, God, what a great guest he'd be if you could get him.
I'd better get him before he dies.
Lecture at this year's Glastonbury Symposium. Cool.
Did he?
If he's anti-Dawkins, he's probably great.
So that thing about everyone I know goes away in the end, and it becomes more and more conscious of this. Well, one of our friends is currently in trouble, and it's very disturbing. And one of the things I've vowed to do if Donald Trump wins, I don't know why I've made it that the condition, but maybe I'll do it anyway, is I want to go and do podcasts with 2 old people, very old people. One of them is Derek Robinson, the brilliant author of books about the Royal Flying Corps and the RAF. I hope he's
absolutely love his books.
I hope he's survived. He lives in Bristol, and he hasn't been interviewed for a while, and he'd be good. Derek Robinson.
Read his books. They're awesome, everyone.
Yeah. And the other is this fantastic woman called Kath. I'm trying to remember her surname's temporarily escaped me, who wrote some children's book called Flambards. Has anyone heard of Flambards? They were about horses. They were sort of big in the Goshawk Squadron. That is, it's excellent. They're about horses, and anyway, you remember that series I used to do of talking to World War II veterans about their experiences? It ran in The Spectator for a while.
Yeah.
And
when you were doing research for your books.
Okay. So Kath, I met Kath and her husband, and Kath was the one.
No, is that just no?
I don't know why it slipped my brain, because he's great. Her husband was the one who was in a Northumbrian, I think, machine gun battalion, which got overrun at Gazala, and then he got shipped in an Italian in the Western Desert, and then he got transported to Italy in the hold of this transport ship, constantly terrified that he was going to get torpedoed by the Allies. Somehow he made it, and then he escaped from the Italian POW camp and ended up the last part of the war, having witnessed the bombing of Dresden from outside. Then ended up fighting alongside the Russians and killing lots of Germans and really enjoying it. Anyway, Kath. He's died now, and Kath is his wife. And Kath wrote me this fantastic letter, and she said to me, "I've read that your family has banned you from fox hunting. You really shouldn't. You should carry on. You should do it." And I just thought, respect, Kath, respect. So I want to go and see her if she's still alive.
The good thing about old people is they stop giving a shit about other people's opinions after a while, don't they?
I didn't know that Nils Axel Morner had died. I'm sorry to hear that. I knew Nils. He was a good man. Anyway, what were you going to say? What interesting, distracting thing to take me away from my random meditations on stuff?
No, I'm just talking about old people and how awesome they actually are when they stop giving a shit about what people think, and they've got a lifetime's knowledge and experience. And if only you take the time to listen to them, the ones that are still compos mentis, then it's an absolute gold mine that needs to be mined.
Well, here's the thing, Dick. They're exactly like us, just that they're trapped in these rather ghastly bodies which don't do what they want them to do.
No,
they feel the same
as every year.
It's like up. Yeah, if Trump wins, jump on the horse, go hunting. I kind of ought to, oughtn't I?
I think you should call it the Donald Trump
celebratory.
I
think so. Has anyone else here ridden to hounds, as we call it?
It is one of the big divisive things that you cling to. That so many of your fans are saying, "I love him, but can't go along with that fox hunting."
I thought everyone did it, Dick. Do they not? Do they not? Come on. No, Milo's not out of the question. No. Particularly because now I feel a duty to annoy a friend of mine who hates the fact that I associate with Milo. And
Helen, our dad. Yeah, amen, sister.
Oh, the Pytchley. Well, I've been hunting with the Pytchley. That's kind of my local hunt. I just think everyone should do it.
The great.
It should be. I don't think many people. I don't think vaccines should be compulsory, but I do think fox hunting should be. I think you should have a. In fact, Dick, did I? Oh God! Oh my God! I interviewed John. That's a real NPC view on fox hunting. That Wild is. I think Wild is a bit overrated. And if you're quoting Wild in support of
foxes are assholes.
Oh God. Yeah, exactly. You discredit your opinions when you do things like that. The unspeakable in full pursuit of the uneatable is the phrase you're looking for, and it's just bollocks. Wilde was not. I don't know. Wilde would probably have been for the vaccine, and he'd probably have he'd have championed lockdown and stuff. I'm not sure he was quite the rebel you think he was, except on gay issues. Yeah, exactly. On Hunting by Scruton is a fantastic book. It is
right.
part
What
of
were
our
you about to
cultural
move on
heritage.
to? You're getting distracted by pretty words.
What? Me getting distracted? That never happens. What?
Oh, look, James the squirrel behind you.
Yeah, right. There wasn't a squirrel there, Dick.
But there's a badger behind me.
Yeah. Okay. So what was I going to say?
This is the problem. You get distracted and you forget what you were going to say. Help us, listeners.
Can anyone help? What was I about to say?
That Jolyon Maugham is into fox hunting now.
No, I think Jolyon Maugham is. You were talking about earlier on about people. You were talking about Kirsty, weren't you? Kirsty Allsop, and you thought she was on side and she wasn't.
Yeah.
I think Jolyon Maugham is the corollary to that. That hasn't he been doing good work on government waste in the this whole massive era of
prevent criminals
it up against the wall
right now? No, is he not one of them? Is he not doing the human rights bollocks?
No, he's done good things. The thing is, I tell you, somebody said, in fact it was Simon said, are you possibly on the spectrum? The amount of information you have to absorb each day, because it would drive a normal person mad. And this is the problem. The good thing and the bad thing about my life, and yours to a degree as well, except you at least have the distraction of having a job which doesn't require you to do this quite as much. Mm-hmm. But I just find I get so much information that I don't know where it all comes from. It's all over. My whole day is from the moment I get up, check my Twitter feed. It's
you don't know whether it's something someone's told you directly, or something or something you've picked up on someone else's podcast.
I think Maugham has done. Yeah, exactly. Maugham has been very sound on the PPE contracts backhanders, which is just, what a scandal. Do you not think this is the year where
to stand out right now, though, doesn't it? How big a scandal has it got to be if it can hold its head above all the other scandals that are going on, all the Dido Hardings and the contracts being given out to chums, the chumocracy, everything is corrupt right now. It's all wrong. So yeah,
it's just us. And I see the number, Dick, has been varying between 399 and 400 about there. Right. That's all we are. We few, we happy. God, oh my God, Dick, have you heard the audio book of Agincourt, or Azincourt, as he spells it?
Yeah, Bernard Cornwall. It's a wonderful book.
You read it?
Oh yeah, some time ago.
Oh my God, I don't know whether the wife survives or not yet, and don't tell me. But I'm just at the bit where Agincourt, what a battle!
Well, the thing about Cornwall is he can describe battles like no other writer, because it's a sharp. I can just actually take it or leave it. He can actually make you understand what's going on in a battle. And yet still you feel like you're in a very small part of it, but have the bigger picture at the same time. That's quite a gift.
He sort of thinks things through. I had no idea about what it must have been like being in full plate armor, trying to move through a plowed field. With your visor down. He describes it from the French perspective as well as the English perspective. And you've got this, the English had the advantage of being able to keep their visors open, because the French didn't have any archers, or so few as to make as it made no difference. They might as well not. And their crossbowmen were wrongly placed, or possibly their crossbows had been the rain had affected them. I don't know. But yeah,
it's a pretty awesome tale, and reminds you of a time when we were a lot better than we are now. Can you imagine trying to recruit a bunch of
Dick.
What?
Dick. These moments of you think about Tony Blair and his when he said Britain is a young country, which is the biggest of the many lies that he told. He was trying to essentially write off history and begin at year zero.
Oh, it's the same as the diversity built Britain crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you that's right. But these moments of history are there to remind us of our duty. That there's a reason why we learn about Cressy and Agincourt, and a reason why Americans learn about Gettysburg, or the Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party, or the Minutemen fighting the Redcoats,
or the War of 1812.
And it's to when we burnt, we scored a victory then, didn't we? Yeah, we burned their White House. Sorry, lol. And the Australians have, and the Kiwis have Gallipoli. What are your legs?
Steel Springs.
What are your legs? What are they going to do?
Hurl me down the track. How fast can you run?
How fast can you run?
Fast as a leopard.
How fast are you going to run?
As fast as a leopard.
Well, let's see you do it. That's the
Jean-Michel theft.
I thought it was Vangelis. Is it Jean-Michel?
Yeah,
it's Vangelis.
No.
Was it Vangelis?
Jean-Michel.
I think it could be Vangelis. And then maybe it was.
Simon had terrible accents, and he's Australian, so he should know. Sorry, great New Zealand accents there. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to go soon, because I told wife that this would go. We started half an hour earlier.
I know.
And we've
and do you know what I missed?
Vangelis was Carrots to Fire. Yeah, we know that. It was Shah. Simon has so never wrong, James Delingpole.
Oh yeah, somebody said Andrew Neil is in Epstein's Black Book, but then so is Toby Young, and I don't think Toby's ever been on.
He got in there.
Toby was never on the aeroplane, was he? Actually, Dick, though.
No,
had you been invited? Had you been invited to Epstein Island? Would you have? I mean,
I'd have probably gone on the premise that I'd have got some free water skiing or something like that, and I wouldn't have been at Edo Island.
Have you ever been in a private jet?
No, I haven't. But back then, the invitation would have probably been, come along to this fantastic resort. There's loads of free food and stuff, lots of pretty women, you can water ski, and there's free food. It wouldn't have been, oh, do come to Pedo Island.
Yes, and also I think you would have thought that these were girls, sort of good time girls who were up for it, whereas we now know they were just basically slaves who'd been, conned, and they didn't like it.
Epstein making themselves ever so popular again.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's never really what you've been told, is it? But yeah.
Can I just ask all the dietary experts here before I go?
Oh God, if stuff, are we?
No, just a bit. Just if I just stick to kind of low carb, am I gonna be cool with that? Do I have to go keto, or?
They'll probably say, to achieve what?
Oh, I hate those questions. I don't even know what I'm trying to achieve, actually. That's the thing. That is the truth of it. I don't know what I'm aiming at.
You're overweight or anything, is it?
It's not like I need to pull. I've got a bird.
No.
It's not like It's not like I'm going anywhere hot where I can parade my body.
And the only people who get to see your six-pack are your faithful podcast.
I think when I get a better camera, I will let people.
Hang on, it's
people
not
look at my.
You've shot that viewer down in flames for suggesting it was the camera. You need a better connection. Oh
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's I do need a better connection. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, when you're in ketosis, you'll know. Yeah, but to get in ketosis, I've got to do all this stuff.
Keto gets you high.
I'm eating so much bacon and stuff.
Quite right. And you did look like the alien autopsy for that brief moment.
Oh, Dick, that's horrible.
It's unkind, but I was seeing it from the viewer's point of view. When you're holding your stomach up against the camera, you don't get to see that.
Yeah, I don't think I need to lose weight. Anyway.
Right. Can we
so let's hope that next week we've got a super chat going. And then you can actually really get throwing money at us. And
we will give time to your questions and actually
we will answer more questions than you can shake a stick at. That's what we can
do. You know, with Dick and James, you get honesty in as much as we can. I'm not going to be tied down to a conundrum. Are you still beating your wife, for instance? Yeah,
exactly.
Obviously,
so thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, everyone. We are slightly more than the 300. We've held off Thermopylae. We've held the gates, the hot gates, held off those Persians for a long time, and I think we've helped
things and things.
We've helped save democracy. We've helped save Western civilization yet again. Thank you, Sunscream. It's really nice to be appreciated. We like that.
Someone saying once a month. That's more of a realistic ambition, but you know, when the pubs are reopened, I rather like to be in the pub at 6 o'clock on a Friday. I'm sure most of our viewers do, but this is desperate times calling for desperate measures. So, in fact, when it does get going again, you've all got to come up to Worcester and do a third Wednesday together, and we'll take over the entire pub and talk about.
You can actually meet the actual Dick and James.
Actual Dick and James.
Be disappointed by
it, like all the Worcester libertarians have been.
Yeah, exactly. Good. All right then. I'm going to press the end broadcast now.
Okay.
Bye,
thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, brother.
Thank you. Bye.